Oh, right. Well, my problem I had with trying to live stream was that it wouldn't work. It would cut out straight away when I start recording. So, good news is though is that I can kind of just run you through what I'm doing now without any worries about checking or anything. So, right. So, like I said before, I showed you this track that this drop I made at college, and I tried to show you. No, I didn't try to. I showed you what I was making, and then I was complaining about the plugins I have at home, and that they're different to the ones I have at home. But I've done some work and I've made it work out quite well. So yeah, you probably remember this drop, so I'll play it now for you. So yeah, fuck off, fucking cunt. So yeah, originally it was literally just half a build up and half a drop. I've now got the whole track here, like a couple of weeks later. I will run you through like everything I've done, and like everything I'm doing. Um, yeah, so let's just start off the intro. The intro is like an organ and a choir, so kind of a bit more like, I don't know what you would want to call it, but you're like, you'll understand. So come on then, right? So here's one of the layers. Let me just quickly stretch this out a bit so you can kind of see a bit better. So yeah, I've just noticed that this was moving. What's moving? Why the fuck is my strings moving? Cunt. Weirdo. But yeah, yeah, like I said, like it was the one layer is an organ. So yeah, I need to put some reverb on it actually. Let's put it around about 15%. Perfect. Didn't even need to do the decay. So yeah. So yeah, that's one layer. I got a church choir, or a boy, a ensemble, as they would say. As you can see here, between these two, the the chord progression is a tiny bit slower, different than the other one. Like as you can see, I've got like a bass note. Oh no, I can't play because it's muted. But yeah, no, these three bass notes here, these aren't in the choir because, well, they are here. But if I put it down by 5 semis, it doesn't sound right. I can just hear it and it doesn't sound right. So I decided to remove that. But it kind of does me a favour anyway. Um, well, yeah, well, I can kind of say it's a lot easier because I take the low end out anyway. So it does me a massive favour. So, like I said, yeah, I took the low end out of it to about 200 hertz or something like that. So yeah, that's both layers at that one. I've got some strings. I think it is just normally like a I don't know. Yeah, no, it's a I think it's a either a violin or that big massive fucking cunt that you have to snatch like the height of you. But yeah, and then I just for like extra layers, and I had a little melody in the background, so with one of the organs. And layered with a flute. You can barely hear it, but it just makes so much different. It just makes the slightest different sound a lot better. Like, I wasn't gonna put that in originally, but then I was like, I need something with a bit more high end, and something that will do just a bit better than just the organ on its own. So you can't hear it, but I can hear like a little fizz. So I can just hear it through headphones as well, which is quite well. So yeah, so yeah, that's that. I've got a Glockenspiel. So I probably don't need to do that, to be honest, but let me see the notes that are in that. So let's see. I don't know. Probably could do a bit on, yeah. Yeah, but never mind. That just goes in the background when you can barely hear it. But if I play it just with like the choir and that. So yeah, it sounds quite well. And then once I get into the 17th bar onwards, where it starts building up a tiny bit more, I changed it to a ARP. If you have listened to 1-2 by Virtual Riot, I think it might be 1-2, or Dogfight, you can hear this ARP, but not with this like type of instrument. And the same goes with Pray for Rhythm. You can kind of hear it in the background. So, and because it's in the same key, I thought, why make a different ARP when I can kind of try and use the same one? I think his one's a tiny bit slower than that, like dun 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 dun. No, it's the same one. But never mind. I put a sub in. You can probably barely hear it anyway, but yeah, that just kind of fills in the lows due to everything else being like taken with the low end out. So yeah, so that's. So yeah, I originally just had the build up, which sounded a bit like it just. I just needed to make a track, and I got so bored, so I thought I'd make this. But I now have an ARP. That's not the ARP. This is one of the ARPs. You can barely hear it when the track's playing, but it's just there. And I made this ARP because I wanted to use something for the build up, and I thought I need to make like a not a spooky ARP, but more of like a darker feeling. And I thought, open Serum. I literally did. I opened up Serum. I put 8 voices on unison. I put the detune up by like 5, like 0.5. And usually the envelope's like up here, but I took it down, so it's so it's a bit like a ramp. So yeah, I put hyperdimension on. I put distortion on, a bit of delay. I put the multiband on the compressor, turned the ratio down, took the low end out on the EQ, and now I've got this. I chucked Valhalla onto it. Oh no, my EQ's done. yeah, I put Valhalla on it to give it that spacier feeling, followed by the same ARP, the Glockenspiel. So yeah, and I still needed to fill in a few spaces, so I put a crash and a kick. That's the wrong one. Just so it kind of gives it a bit more like tension. I have a Virtual Riot riser. You probably won't be able to hear it properly. Till it gets a bit down. I'll put the I put a low cut or high cut EQ on, and as you can kind of see, as it plays, the EQ brings it basically across. So the low end comes out, the high end comes up. So just listen to when it gets to over here. Yeah. So yeah, you can just hear it's just been cut off really. What else did I use? I had a crash, well, a white noise. And then I got a horn from Splice. And what did I do? That was it. I put it into the. Basically, I chopped it up so it could fit into each bar, and put it in the same notes as the ARP I showed you other one a minute ago, the one that I put in Serum. So now it sounds like this. So, and together with the ARP, it goes like this. So yeah, that sounds quite a lot more better than I originally planned. So now it sounds like this all together. Oh yeah, and just before the build-up starts, I've got a little vocal, like a bit like a pre-drop vocal, but it's not on the pre-drop. Instead, it's on the pre-build-up. I've got this off Splice too.
In my business, you don't trust anybody.
So yeah, it just works so well.
In my business, you don't trust anybody.
And I got a reversed horn, which it works really well. It just worked quite well. So yeah, I don't think you need to know about the other effects, do you? Yeah, you do. All together, here's the other ones. Should cut out now. So yeah, it just all cuts out really. Goes really well. Once everything cuts out, everything speeds up really fast, and the EQ on everything, I think it's everything. Yeah, pretty much. I think everything cuts out between 1 and 200, 1000 hertz and 2000 hertz each time. So like everything together sounds. Why am I doing that?
Anyway.
So yeah, the horns go faster as well. So yeah, and then here's my pre-drop vocal.
Anyway, I started blasting.
So yeah, so followed by that, I can show you the basses. You got I just called it Dunno because at the time I didn't even know how I made it. So it's just like a. So yeah, it's made quite nicely. Just your typical 12 modulations on most knobs on Serum, and then with this it just modulates the pitch. So like, no, it doesn't. I actually don't know what this modulates. Probably would be ideal if I knew. Oh no! I tell you what, it's probably an EQ in here. It's not. So where the fuck? Where the fuck? Oh, it's probably something Matrix. It probably is. I'll tell you that. LFO2. And look, there it is. It's the master tune. So if I turn the master tune up a bit, it'll be like. So yeah, I don't even use it in the end, but it works really well. Rocket Fuel. I believe it was a preset by Cymatics. Yeah, it was the original preset. I fixed it up a tiny bit. So yeah, Screechy Bass. There's one Screechy Bass I used, but I put 2 layers on. So this one. It's just two saw bass. With like a hang on, with like a 4-octave difference, and I've FM'd it about 40%. Yeah, 40%, and it's a weird LFO shape because I put 2 again. But this one is for the master tune. So if I were to move this across, looks like I didn't use it. Looks like I didn't use it again. Probably could do with using it, but. Oh, you can barely hear it. But yeah, I just had another high pass, no, a high notch 12, hyper, multi-band, distortion, an EQ, and a filter. I didn't even use the filter in the end. With Camel Crusher, compressor, kickstart, saturator, and channel, and an EQ. With the kickstart, just gives it a bit more like a flow. So I've got. That's one layer with effects. I got one with the low end taken out and no effects. Fucking hell, alright then, mate. Jesus. Oh, I bet that's the. No, tell you what, that's probably me playing around with the master tune on the wrong channel. Probably is. Okay then. Maybe I pitched it wrong. Why is it being like this then? Oh, I haven't. Oh, you fucking prick. Well, that's alright. They're all selected anyway, so I can kind of bring it down. Oh, it's being a dick. It's being a dick today. Wow. Well, you should understand, it is the same. Luckily, I'm not saving this anyway. But it's just, yeah, it's the same patch, but it's just unaffected. The second part of the drop is practically the same, but instead of the screechy bass, it's a dunno bass. So yeah, and when it comes to the drums, oh my god, don't even get me started on the drums. It took me forever to try and get these fixed. My original, the drums were originally this. This was one kick. It's just a normal grime kick, and then I took the low end out of a dubstep kick. So now together. You can just you can't hear it fully, but I can. Just your typical like hi-hats and rides. And the snares, like every producer fucking can't choose a snare. So I had a Teddy Killers? No, I had a Cymatics clap. Followed by a Teddy Killers snare. Together. That worked for when the screechy bass is playing, because I don't know why, but I had another snare on it, and it sounded really like the snare was punching too much. So I just chucked the extra snare on when the dunno bass was playing. So now it's another dubstep snare. So I took the attack off a bit, so it sounds less. So now it's a bit more like this. So it does all right. And then for the second half of the track, I put the strings first. Pardon me. So yeah, the strings just play. And then when, like, as you can see, it's just a normal chord progression here. Nothing there. And then for the second one, there's a slight melody, like you can hear it once it's playing. So yeah, and then I got that playing for another 16 bars with the Glockenspiel. Just to let you know, the Glockenspiel is a preset in Sculpture. You only have Sculpture in Logic unless you can buy it as a separate plugin. I don't know if you can actually, because it's like on an Apple thing, but who knows, you might be able to buy it or whatever. But it's just I've got the choir and that again, so you don't need to worry about that. And then the same build up technically, but the second drop is completely different to the first. So now I've got this bass playing with the highs, the EQ cut out, so now it's all muffled, and then so it sounds like this. And it sounds all delayed because I put an endless smile on it. If I took it off, oh, never mind. But I never actually changed the presets, to be honest. But who knows? But yeah, basically, it makes, I don't know why, but that one thing makes the whole entire build up sound a bit different. So yeah, build up's practically the same, but this is where it changes, right? Instead of I started blasting or however you want to put it. Before that vocal comes in, I have a pre-drop. I have a pre-drop build up. So this is like what people would think is the pre-drop vocal.
Oh my god!
But it's not, because what it is, it's another build up. So you got this one.
Oh my god!
So yeah, it's like what I've done with the track Outbreak, which I had with Nightmare Motive. But yeah, the people think that the second drop's going to be the same as the first one, but it's not. It just pitches up and up and up. Do you know what? I tell you what I think the problem is on this now. I think I've changed the pitch. Told you, I knew it was going to be. So now I can take the mute off, and I bet this doesn't even sound high anymore. Yes, I knew it was. I knew it was something to do with the pitch. But like I said, it just pitches up and up and up. So which goes quite well. So it goes, and then you got the pre-drop vocal, which is.
Anyway, I started blasting.
The drop, I have the Dunno bass. That's the one bass that I'm keeping throughout the whole track. So just your typical. The little noise I was making, that I mentioned when I was doing the build up, which is like this without the effect of the end of smile on. Sounds quite filthy. I know half of these just say like bass blah blah blah. Yes, they were presets, but I've been working on them, so they do sound a bit different to what they originally did. So, and then I cannot wait to show you this, but this is yet again another made, worked on preset. It sounds like this. Oh no, this is the original. This is the edited one. Together. And then I have a sub separate to the normal sound, so it kind of just like, it just glides through. So yeah, same drums. So yeah, so I'll play the build up.
Oh my God! Anyway, I started blasting.
And then this is where it changes a tiny bit. Second drop, the second part of the drop is literally the same as the second part of the first drop. So yeah, and then for the outro is just a nice old choir, organ, and a nice little melody, and it just finishes it off really well. So yeah, this track turned out to be like 5 minutes 6 seconds. So it's kind of nice to have a track quite that long that I don't get bored of making. So as you lot remembered, I released Locked Up last week. Was it last week? Or was it the beginning of the week? What day is it today? It is Tuesday. So I think I released it Sunday. But yeah, I should hopefully be doing a VIP of that, but you don't know this. That Exorcism track I was doing last week that I showed you in the last stream, not much else has been done to it, but as it's called Exorcism, it's obviously based around like priests trying to get rid of like the whatever they've been taken over, blah blah blah. So I kind of used again the choir idea for the second half, so it sounds like this. And again I used the Glockenspiel again. I have done slight bits and bobs to it. I've got the Friday the 13th sound effect, which is panning. It kind of pans from left to right, so that works out quite well. You've heard the drop. You've heard the first drop. So yeah, the second part, which is like the beat, I guess you can kind of say, which is like what I've done now. Instead of it's basically the original one sounds like this. It's pretty much the same. It is the same, but the hi-hats don't start straight away, so it sounds like this. So yeah, it kind of like plays well. So yeah, there's really not much else to it apart from I put the little girl saying you're gonna die up there, is it? I think. Instead of it just being straight like that, I put a bit of bit crusher on it, and it kind of like automates a bit, so it kind of just goes all crunchy, so like this.
You're gonna die up there.
Kind of plays quite well when it builds up. Same drums, just need a different drop. That one probably will be released another time. I was going to plan for the beginning of July, but I didn't release Locked Up straight away when I wanted to, so it doesn't really matter now. So I can release the one I've just the one before this project, the college one. So I probably might release this within the next couple of weeks. We'll just see how it goes. July the 4th maybe. Nah. But we'll see. We'll definitely like look into it, I guess. But yeah. I hope you and the way it seems that OBS is fucking. Oh no, never mind. Sorted. But yeah, so like I hope you guys enjoyed my little walkthrough of how I created my new track. I still haven't got a name for it, but it shouldn't be able to call it anything hard. It shouldn't be able to call it much because obviously due to the fact it's quite piss when it has like a choir and organs and that in. I can't copy Virtual Riot with the Pray for Rhythm because it's not really rhythm. Can't go pray for dubstep, can I? But I might do something like bow to something. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. You'll just have to stay tuned and that. I hope you didn't get bored. But if you did make it this far, subscribe, like, do whatever you fucking want. And I'll see you in the next one. Hopefully, I should do like not a live stream, or I might do one of these once a month, just so you can kind of see what I do or what tracks I'm doing. But yeah. But anyway. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe.